of this place. And the apartment I moved into was very poorly. It wasn't fit for a child to be under. And I told the Lord that I wanted it fixed up. If he wanted me to be here in this residence, for him to fix it up and talk to the landlord, to talk to his heart, to have him open his heart up freely and fix my apartment. And the Lord spoke back and said, in order for him to fix my apartment, he would have to fix all of the apartments. God is on the move. He's still alive. He's still working.
On the 3rd of the month, the bailiff came out with that envelope, and it had on there that I understood you had already received a 3-day notice. So he says, I'm coming back with a court order with 2 men, and we're going to throw you out. He said, I don't mean we're going to set you out, we're going to throw you out.
Court bailiffs were providing a service to landlords who paid a certain amount of money to them, who went out and would give fake eviction orders, and on the stationery of the court tell the people they would have to be out within several days or they would come and forcibly remove them.
Well, come to find out that, as we understood, and we found out from the bailiff, he even told that himself, that the landlord had paid him $10 to come out here and do that to us.
This is supposed to be a free country, but that sure doesn't seem like it. Because when you move into a place and your landlord wants to throw you out after you've done paid him the rent, and then it's hard to find a place.
Even the court system itself showed that it operated on behalf of the property owner and put property first rather than the people.
People have money, they got it made. The poor people, they just get kicked around.
Well, there's not too many good houses for people to live in, and whenever they find one, they have to pay so much money for the rent.
It's important to remember that you talk about $75, you're talking about, like, essentially, the county doesn't have a lot of money, you know, like, in terms of, like, how you make it, like, economically, you know, we're not talking about someone who works every day. We're talking about someone who has, makes maybe less than $4,000 a year, and $75 a month for rent, that's a lot of money.
It is a lot of money, $75, because when you get your money and you pay $75 for rent, pay your electric, gas, and telephone, you don't hardly have anything left to buy food with. And I don't have food stamps, but I'm trying to get food stamps right now, and I hope I'll be able to get them when I go. I think I'll have an appointment for next month. When they take a house, they have to take what they can get. Sometimes they don't have any heat in it, and no hot and cold water.
Mildred, why don't you tell us about the Milo Grogan community since you've been in that area, and then perhaps, you know, sort of let us know how things begin to decline in the area.
When you live in an area where the houses are substandard, deteriorating, it brings on crime and frustration of the people, because people that are in crime look for these areas to thrive in because it's very seldom patrolled by the police. Our planning commissions never seem to come around until some big-time corporation decides to buy the land for business, and then they find out that there's houses there. People are really living there.
started this, us tenants, we all had the same problems, and we just talked about it, and we let it go on for 3 or 4 months. We talked it over, 3 or 4 months before we decided, how could we get our place fixed up in living condition for our kids, live halfway decent. And so this is the way we figured it out. We didn't have no other choice, because we went to the landlord. We had a meeting with him. We talked to him. Well, he promised to do this, but he never, he never lived up to his contract. He'd come out here, he'd hassle us, he'd promise us he'd do everything, and he wouldn't do nothing. We finally got together and started this rent strike.
I've really come to respect people who get involved with rent strikes, because once they make up their minds that they're going to fight, instead of just collapsing under what they have to put up with, their minds, they're really quick to perceive what the real sources of problems are. So they quickly make the leap from, I've got a landlord who wants to get every penny out of me he or she can and give me as little back as possible, to, it's not just my landlord, it's this whole city that's oriented towards serving certain kinds of people and not serving me. Quickly grasp, for instance, that the thing that really makes the society tick is money.
All the landlords has called us all, all sorts of names, and they've even said we was trash. We wasn't nothing, because we started this rent strike and got the buildings, started working on them, and because the city inspector went to them and told them they had to fix their places up too. It's like one big family now. Some people think, well, you're on a union strike and things like that, you pull away. But all of us, it seems as one, because we all pull together. If one of us has a problem, well, we all go to one another. We all gather into the one that's got the problems.
Rent strike gets people together who you would normally never see together, working together. You'll see students working with working people. You'll see poor Appalachian whites working with blacks. And those are things, and it's because they suddenly come to realize, suddenly grasp their situation, and that they all have exactly the same situation that makes it most amazing. People have absolutely no control over what they live in, how they get to live there once they're in it, and how long they can stay in it, and if they can stay in it. Tenants face what is probably the best example of what an emphasis on property above people does. When they're dealing with the law, or when they're dealing with the agencies, myriad of agencies that get involved, especially with poor tenants, the whole thing is very lopsided. It's all to the side of the person who owns the property. And most of it operates to confuse or to really oppress the tenant, who's simply trying to find a place to live.